Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Duels of the Spellslingers tournament number 5. So we're now done block ABCD after 2 rounds of a best 2 out of 3s. We now have 4 matches, and today's match is going to be Blue Drogo versus Nemesis. Before we begin, though, I want to give a big shout out to our commentators. We got Nemesis, myself, and Dusty. Also our organizer, we have antlr, and a bit of myself, Obus form. And our video creator and editors, we got antlr, Iron, Bryce, and I think it's somebody else, and I apologize, I forget your name. I can't seem to remember for the life of me. But antlr, if you can add that in the video, I'd be appreciated. Before we begin, also, I just want to give some odd fun facts. Magic the Gathering was actually made by Richard Garfield. He was born in 1966 as a math professor, and I think he was trying to teach his class probability, which is basically the chance that things have to happen. So he actually made his first deck of only land and Lightning Bolt, the very famous and overpowered Lightning Bolt, 1 mana, 3 damage, and basically it was how you can create a deck to kill your opponent faster than they can kill you, and that's how Magic the Gathering was created. And with that, we're going to get started to round 1, but before we just go there, this is a best 2 out of 3 tournament. People can use any cards, any decks, any planeswalker that you choose. We are just expecting to have optimized decks, and now we're going to get started with round 1.
Round 1. Fight!
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so it's going to be Nemesis on Nissa rocking that Forest Arena land. I believe it's turn 5. It has a 30% chance to give +2/+2 and ward to a creature. Versus Blue Drogo on Liliana rocking that, I think it's the graveyard at turn 7 or turn 8. It has a 30% chance to give you a random zombie. Could even be a mythic or could be Liliana Goliath. So turn 1 goes to Liliana, she passes. Turn 1 now on Nemesis. Nemesis is turn 1. I think he's going to play the Channeler of Might, or just might pass, because Channeler of Might doesn't have anything to proc and make him a 3/3 instead of a 2/2. So Nemesis holding that Channeler of Might, it has the effect where it can get +1/+1, so it becomes a 3/3 if Nemesis has a 5 power, but Nemesis doesn't, so that's why he doesn't decide to play it. Turn 2, Liliana plays Diehard Fan, where when it dies, it gives -1 cost to all zombies in hand, and Liliana has 3 zombies. So turn 2, Nemesis plays Channeler of Might. It does not proc, unfortunately. And turn 3, Liliana's probably going to go in, yeah, because Liliana has 1, 2, 3, 4 zombies in hand. There we go. So that's great value. Can bring out the, another Diehard Fan and the Baboon. So the Baboon zombie, it's a nice chunky chonker, 3/5 guy, nice blocker. I've been watching a lot of Reddit YouTube videos of cats, and they all call these guys big cats chonkers. Anyway, so going back to the game, Nemesis on turn 3 could blow the... Okay, so it decides to blow it on the 5/4 Eldamri. But Eldamri, even if he attacks... okay, so if he attacks, though, I think Liliana's going to play the Grotesque at 3 mana 6/6. Because the Grotesque, although you do have to sacrifice a creature to play it, it's a 6/6 and prevents Eldamri from basically suiciding into it. And also itself is a big board pressure. As you guys know, Nemesis on Nissa is not known like Jace for those 2 mana unsummon, 3 mana repulse. There's no easy way for Nissa, who can splash any 6 cards of any other color, with no easy way to deal with big creatures. Usually has those board wipes, 2 Day of Judgments, maybe some Lava Waves, maybe Arcanus or Archroma, something to end the game, but doesn't have anything easy like a Flagrant Foul or Unsummon to deal with that. That's why it doesn't look like, Eldamri's not going to attack. Nemesis decides to go for broke, is just going to go for hoping to get Day of Judgment or some big creature, and just is going to Sylvan Shrine it. Decides to end the turn, doesn't suicide, because if it does, it would be 9 damage coming through uncontested. So now passes, and now it's Liliana's turn on turn 5 to attack. Attacks with everything. I think Nemesis is going to block the 3/5. I don't think it's going to block the 6/6 because, well, it's not a favorable trade. Yeah, so takes 6 damage, bringing Nemesis down to 21, and still has no answer for that cheap 3 mana 6/6 Grotesque. Liliana plays the Grave Digger and decides to bring back the Rotting Baboon, but instead of playing that, plays the Blood Queen Drana, where when it attacks and does damage, it gains that much HP. So Nemesis now has a lot of decisions. That's 9, that's 11 damage on board, but Nemesis does not have Day of Judgment, doesn't have Lava Wave. So I think it's either going to be a plot or, okay, decides to go for Sylvan Shrine, and has 2 mana left over, bringing Nemesis to 25 because of Sylvan Shrine, and plays the Colonian Tusker just to block, I think, the 3/3. Turn 6 Liliana, yeah, everything's going to go for the attack. The Blood Queen Drone is going to become a 2/5. Maybe it's going to block. Maybe the Nisa is going to block. Nope, decides to block the 6/6. I was thinking it would block the 3/3 and destroy it, but decides to block the 6 damage. And I think Liliana's going to play Liliana's Goliath. Very good. Liliana's Goliath, as you guys know, when it dies, it gets +1/+1, and its power becomes 10. So it becomes a 10 for when it dies. There we go. We have the Lava Wave, but the question is, do you trigger it now? Because Lava Wave, even if you trigger it now, it's going to make Liliana's Goliath give 10, become 10 power. But I think it's going to be more than 10 damage on board. So yeah, it decides to trigger it, and has nothing to block. It's going to maybe play the, Sign of a Shy. Okay, so sort of has to waste, I would say, the Sign of a Shy, but it's not a waste, right? Okay, so Liliana splashed white. We can see that with the 5 mana Angel. The 5 mana Angel, yeah, so Liliana's going to go attack. The 5 mana Angel, when it debuts, has the ability to heal you for 7 HP if you took 7 damage or more last turn. So Liliana decides to play the Routing Baboon. I think it's Routing Baboon time, yeah. No need to play the Archangel because you took no damage last turn. Alright, Nemesis finally proccing the land, and what do you draw? You draw the Angler Worm. I think it's gonna be Angler Worm, yeah, to take that proc and maybe just the Predator Ooze to come out. So Angler Worm becomes a 7/8 with Ward, and Angler Worm, as you can see, every time at the end of its turn, it heals up back to full life. So it just becomes this very big, oh, too bad. Liliana's Goliath died at the turn and couldn't use Blessed Rebirth. Yeah, so that's too bad. It would have been a nice attack, and then if it died, it could play Blessed Rebirth to bring it back. So it doesn't look like Liliana has any good play to make. Doesn't want to waste the Archangel, doesn't want to waste the Rebirth for nothing, and doesn't have enough mana to play, so just passes just like that an entire turn. Okay, Nemesis is now getting to that late game where it's going to have one plot. It looks like it drew another plot. Plays the Predator Ooze, gains more mana, etc, etc. This is the Nisa time to shine. Attacks with the Angler Worm 7/8, yeah. Not a favorable trade, so Liliana decides to just take the damage. And okay, so old Graveyard procs, I don't know if it wanted to though, because Liliana might have wanted to play that 9 mana Soulsaver Lich. So with 8 mana, you could either heal the 7 damage rather, that you took last turn, or you can deal with the Angler Worm now with a Flagrant Foul, but you don't have enough mana to play both. So, okay, it looks like it's gonna be, yep, it's gonna be the healing, and then the Angel, and then the Relentless Ghoul, through 3/1 Relentless Ghoul, and that's about it. So Nemesis' turn, 14 mana, lots of mana due to the plots, due to the Sylvan Shrines, 2 of them, the Rampant Growths, but there's nothing to use it. Maybe you just have to, okay, decides to use Centaur Sage. Alright, there we go. Centaur Sage becomes a 7/7, yeah, where when you cast a creature, you get to draw 1 more card. Decides to attack with everything and casts Plot. There we go. So we do see the Lava Wave, and we do see the 2 plots, and we see the Achromos. That's 4 of the 8 cards. Attacks with everything. The Ooze does get blocks, and because it gets blocked, it dies, but it does spawn an Ooze at the end of the turn. Angler Worm attacks 7/8. The question is, maybe you block with the 3/1. Yeah, because next turn you can attack with everything, and when it dies, you will simply cast Blessed Rebirth to have, well, everything to rebirth. And as you guys can see, when the ooze comes back, it triggers that Centaur Shaman's ability to draw a card. Alright, so Liliana also having splashed white. She herself also has a Day of Judgment. I think it's a time to attack with everything. And Blessed Rebirth, or you could cast the Soul Seaver Lich. By the way, in Nemesis' hand, the 5th card of choice is Dariagaz. Not a bad choice. So decides to do the 3 damage, and yeah, I think it's just gonna go for Soul Seaver Lich. That way, hopefully, it can block something, and then when it attacks next turn, it's trying to go for that big rebirth value. I think that's what's happening here. So Nemesis, seeing the Soul Seaver Lich with 17 mana. That's a lot of mana. Can probably kill it with an Acroma, and yeah. Can probably go for an Acroma, overhead damage, just to deal with the trying to race Liliana down. But the question is, does Nemesis know that Liliana is going to have the Blessed Rebirth or the Day of Judgment? Because right now, even if a Day of Judgment destroys everything, the Soul Seaver Lich will come back. Okay, there we go. Decides to kill the Soul Seaver Lich with the blind side and attacks with everything. Very well done. I think that's a lot of board pressure, but as we all know, Liliana has the Blessed Rebirth and the Day of Judgment. So we're gonna have to see how maybe he decides to block minimally, trying to keep that 4/6 guy alive, and takes the 14 damage on the ground and blocks the 8. So that's 14 plus another 8. That's 21. That was going to be 21 damage. I think it's going to block the 3/3 and just sort of take the damage overhead. So 14 plus another 8. That's 22 damage. Wow. Liliana's down to 6. What a turn for Nemesis. But I think Liliana's play next turn is going to be attack with everything. And then if there's 10 mana, attack with everything, and then Day of Judgment, and then Blessed Rebirth, and that will be a very big turn. But we also see in Nemesis' hand there's a Lava Wave. So there's a 10 mana. So attack with everything, then Day of Judgment, and then Blessed Rebirth, hoping that Nemesis doesn't have another Day of Judgment or a Lava Wave. But it looks like Nemesis does have a Lava Wave. So yeah, everything's gonna get blocked except for the 3/1 flyer. And then Liliana is going to probably Day of Judgment, destroy, plus Blessed Rebirth. It's gonna be a big turn, big swing. And it's gonna be, we'll have to see how Nemesis decides to answer that. So it looks like Liliana's dying, but nope, Day of Judgment, Blessed Rebirth, amazing combo. Yeah, amazing combo. There we go, Blessed Rebirth. Soul Seaver Lich comes back. It's 11/6 with Relentless. The Baboon is now a 5/7. It grew from a 3/5. The Relentless Ghoul was a 3/1, grew to a 5/3, and the Archangel only grew once from a 3/4 to a 4/5. So I think it's going to be Lava Wave time with 18 mana. You can play everything. It's time for Lava Wave. And then maybe also followed by a Dariagaz. But I don't know if that's going to be enough, because that Soul Seaver Lich is going to come in and they're going to have Flagrant Foul. So you have to Lava Wave and play like an Omnath, just to sort of, for safety reasons, or play the Angler and the Predator Ooze to ensure that Soul Seaver Lich doesn't just sort of come back and sort of one-shot you if you get Flagrant Fouled. So it destroys everything, but Soul Seaver Lich and the Relentless Ghoul comes back. It's now a 6/4, and the Baboon is also alive because it was a 5/7. That's the power, ladies and gentlemen, of Liliana's passive. She was down to 6, and thanks to the Blessed Rebirth and those guys, coming in. Okay, so does the 3 damage, but I don't think that was the choice because Flagrant Foul. So this is going to be a game. It was a very great game, actually, ladies and gentlemen. A very, very good game. Lots of back and forth with Lava Waves, Days of Judgment, Blessed Rebirth, but as we can see, Liliana rocking the white splash with the Blessed Rebirth. If you can do it with the full board Blessed Rebirth, it's the same as Shadows of the Past, pretty much, right? Except it's a 3 mana cost. And so this is Liliana splashed white, basically having the same end game board pressure as Nissa. Very well done, Blue Drogo. So let's go into round 2.
Round 2. Fight!
Round 2, fight. And round it's gonna be, okay, so it's gonna be Blue Drogo again on that sort of long game Liliana versus Kaya Nemesis. I know for a fact that Nemesis loves playing Kaya. I played as Kaya and it destroyed me, even on my Jace and my Nissa. So I think this is Nemesis's sort of his comfort zone, and I know Blue Drogo seems to like his Liliana. But as we can see, Blue Drogo has the Infest. So turn 1 goes to Kaya, she passes. Kaya's rocking that Hellmouth Cave, which at turn 4 has a 30% chance to give everything on board +1 damage. So turn 1, they both pass. Turn 2, Kaya plays the 3/1 Bog Imp. I think it's Dagger Claw Imp. Yeah, that cannot block, so it's a 3/1 flyer. Blue Drogo having the Drain Blood, perfect answer, and just like that it gets answered. Okay, so Kaya is, 3 mana. Maybe go for the Courtly Killer, there we go. And that way Blue Drogo has to take damage next turn. It will definitely go into Kaya's quest. So Blue Drogo on turn 3, what do you play? Okay, decides to play the Rotting Baboon instead of Liliana's Goliath. Don't need to use the mana gem when you don't need to. So Kaya rather goes in turn 4, attacks, gets the quest, but what do you do? Okay, get Stalwart Spirit. That has 2 mana, stun anything you want. Do you stun the 3/5? Maybe you keep it in hand, but you do. Okay, decides to, nope, making a big decision there. Decides to keep it, yeah. Maybe you go for that and just cast the Krina Consultant. So, a lot of guys on board, but Blue Drogo has that Infest. Blue Drogo, do you discipline? You're probably going to attack with the 3/5, but do you discipline the Infest and sort of wait? Sort of agree? Nope, decides to go in right now. Okay, straight away. Oh, very, very well done. Yeah, Kaya's about that building of the board pressure. I don't think it would have been too bad if Kaya, or rather if Blue Drogo waited 1 more turn, so draw even more cards out. Yeah, because see, Hellmouth Cave can proc, and there we go. So just like that, it's still going to be 3 damage on board, but maybe Kaya has to use the, so Kaya plays the Ghostly Blades, gives the 1 damage, steals it from the Rotting Baboons, becomes a 0/3 blocker, and I'm pretty sure Blue Drogo is going to block because it doesn't want to allow Kaya's quest to occur for 4 damage, and also 10 to still live. There we go. 2 damage overhead. So now the Blood Queen Drana becomes a 2/3 back to his normal status. The Zombie Krino Consultant, where when it attacks and if it gets blocked, it will force the other opponent to discard a spell. We do see the Zombify in Blue Drogo's hand, so maybe a way to counter that is to use the Zombify. So just attack with the Ghoul, let it die, and then Zombify and use the Liliana's Goliath. Maybe that's the play. Liliana's Goliath gets casted immediately and does the Die Hard Fan. Okay, because we do see a Soul Saber Lich in hand. So turn 5. So the next turn, so now Kaya is Stalwart Spirit is probably going to do it on the Liliana's Goliath and maybe just attack with everything. Might steal 1 damage as well. Nope. Maybe just steal the 1 damage, but even if you do, it can still kill things on board, so you probably do have to stall it. Or you can do the Silent Strike. Yeah, you could do the Silent Strike. Maybe cast the Courtly Killer. Okay, so decides to cast the Courtly Killer and the Stalwart Spirit, probably going to be used on, there we go, on the 4/3, nothing can, so that cannot block. But how do you, okay, so you decide to use Ghostly Blades. Yeah, very well done. So Ghostly Blades on that 2/2. I'm not sure why it was the 2/2, but maybe it was because it was to allow the courtly killer, the one that's still with the sneak, so that it doesn't get killed by that next turn. Yeah, there we go. So it does block. So Blue Drogo does block, and it does make the Soul Stealer Lich now, as you can see, 8 cost, but it's going to be at least 3 damage, maybe 6, if Blue Drogo decides not to block with the 0/1. But I think it's time to block with the 0/1, just because, I mean, it's a 0/1. And usually around 4 damage is the time when people start chump blocking, but it's 3 damage. But I think Blue Drogo is sort of in his mind saying, do I allow Kaya to have her quest? Decides to, nope, okay, yeah, blocks it, and loses the zombie fight for nothing. So I say for nothing because, well, you do prevent the quest, but it's for nothing because that 3/2 Cranial Consultant is still on board. So, I think maybe it would have been better not to block it and just sort of allow your creature to die, then use it, and then block the Cranial Consultant. But that would have been a lot of damage, and you did prevent Kaya's quest. So now it's Blue Drogo's turn, it's Liliana's turn with the 6 mana. Yeah, you could do that on this. You could do, oops, okay. Decides to, what do you play? Could do the Recycled Grotesque, turn it into a 10/4 can't block, and then give the play the Mausoleum Witch and make it a 6/6 Relentless. That way at least that guy can block once. I think that's the play, but maybe it looks like it's deciding, yeah, who should you Relentless? There we go. I do think that's the right answer, just because you want more blockers, because Kaya is known for sneak, known for stun from her passive. So you do want to have more blockers rather than less blockers, just in case. So Kaya does go in for everything. Nope, goes in for the 3/3 and the 3/6. But nothing is going to die. Maybe, yeah, the Shadow Operative does get +2/+0 and sneak if something dies. So there we go. Now we see the Cranial Consultant. Okay, we do see the Stalwart Spirit 2/1 go in as well. But I think it's maybe just time for the 3/2 Cranial Consultant. Kaya is hoping for more spells to be sussed out, but we do know there are not so many spells. So I think the 2/1 is going to stay back just to block. Yeah, because it could be a ton of unfavorable trades, right? The 2/1 gets blocked. Okay, he decides to go in with the Cranial Consultant because he doesn't want it to die. And we can see, if you're playing on Blue Drogo's side, you can see Kaya go in or not go in, or not go in with the Stalwart Spirit. So you do know he's sort of having a questionable time. In any case, he does go in with that 3/2, does get blocked, nothing, no spell gets destroyed, and he gets the Sly Spirit 2/1 sneak and Virtus the Veil. Decides not to play the, that's interesting, decides not to play the Operative, even though it felt like that's what he was going for, but that is 5 damage on board. And Blue Drogo's turn, his zombie land did proc and gave him the Captain of the Damned, so it gives +1 to all zombies on board, which there are 2. And Blue Drogo does attack. Okay, of course Liliana's guy does get blocked by the 2/1s for the chump block. The 6/3 does get blocked by the Courtly Killer. Now it's going to be coming back as a 7/7 Relentless. And even though Blue Drogo has big creatures on board, none of them can block, and that's a problem. So only one creature can block right now, maybe a second one if Blue Drogo plays Liliana's Goliath, or plays, Virtus the Veiled. But having only 2 creatures to block is a little bit of a problem, and none of them can fly. Hellmouth Cave procs one more time. So no matter what, Kaya's gonna get in her quests because that is going to be 7 plus another 4. That's 11 damage uncontested on the board because they all have sneak or fly. Yeah, I think if it's gonna be 11 damage, you're hoping for the Mystic guy to give a Stoneforge weapon, Mystic weapon that's +1. No, +2/+3. I think he was going for the +4/+1 to end the game right now, but it doesn't, and decides to draw the +1/+1 and sneak. So everything goes in, nothing gets blocked. Virtus the Veil does proc his his effect, Yeah, and gets the Somber Spirit. I don't want to call it too early, but I think this is a GG, unless blue Drogo has a Infest, but even Infest is not enough to deal with this. Yeah, because that Somber Spirit is going to, I don't think you have to use it now, just in case. I wouldn't use it now just in case, blue Drogo had some sort of board wipe like Day of Judgment, then at least you still have it, right? But even if blue Drogo has Day of Judgment, it would bring him down to 1 HP because of the Somber Spirit. So I think blue Drogo is going to attack with absolutely everything, and it really depends if Kaya even wants to block anything. It would be 17, 18, 19, 20. Even if Kaya blocked nothing, it would be 20 damage and would still live. So, okay, nope, never mind, can't block. Well, it'd be 22 damage, even if Kaya didn't block. I think Kaya will block though, but it really depends. Yeah, Captain of the Undead, there we go. It really depends how Kaya, okay, so 3-1's gonna block, yeah, the 11-2. I don't know if I think it's gonna block the 7, okay. You could even block with the Blood Queen Drana because it has enough HP. With the 4-13, it has enough HP to live through. So blue Drogo does as best as he can, does the 3 damage, gets the Silent Strike from Verge of the Veil, but it's not enough. And I think that's going to be game, and there we go. So this, yeah, we're going to have a big finish. Nothing, yeah, Silent Strike, Verge of the Veil, it's going to be, okay, even Somber Spirits, so again, nothing gets blocked. 2 Silent Strikes and 1 overhead. That's 14 damage overhead. That's such big damage. Yeah, so that's Kaya. Very well done, Nemesis, honestly. We can see that from the top to the bottom, from the start to the finish, it was basically Kaya's game. So in control with all the sneaks, even though there was an Infest on the Liana side, it wasn't enough to deal with that pressure. Very well done, Nemesis. So we're going to go into round 3.
Final round. Fight.
All right, round 3 fight. And round 3, ooh, we have Nemesis on his comfort zone, the Kaya. And now we have blue Drogo on Teferi. Very, 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 very interesting. So we're going to have to see how Teferi does this. Does he use Fair Fight? Does he have it in his deck? That's a blue and white card, 4 mana, where it turns everything on board to a 4/4. It kind of feel like it would work in Nemesis' favor, but we'll see if that even exists. So turn 1 goes to Nemesis, has the cut down, but it's not going to play it. Turn 1 now on Teferi. He might, okay, Leonin Healer, do you need to do that now? Do you blow the mana gem? Or, okay, decides to blow the mana gem. Because it looks like, yeah, Teferi has a lot of, has another 2 cost, has a 3 cost, so it looks like it's going to combo well in his next 2 turns. Turn 2 on Nemesis, decides to play the maybe Kaya's Enforcer, 2/1 with armor and sneak. Very well done. So that's the end of turn 2 on Nemesis. Turn 2 on, Teferi's going to use the Teferi's Staff. The artifact that allows him to draw a trap. Maybe he's going to attack first. Nope, okay, decides not to attack first. Gets the Immolating Glare. And okay, very well done. Maybe he's going to go for the turn 3. Teferi's probably going to use the Acolyte with the Immolating Glare just to destroy something. So turn 3, Nemesis uses Kaya's Ghost Blades, turns the 3/1, the 2/1 Kaya's Enforcer into a 3/1. Just like that, small differences, and Kaya can finish her first quest. Very well done. And gets the Sly Spirit, which I believe is a 2/1 with a sneak. Turn 3, I think blue Drogo is going to definitely play the Teferi's Acolyte and get the Immolating Glare, which would be perfect. Gets also a Disorient, but I don't know if that's the time to play it. Disorient has the -3 to the largest attacking creature, so I think it's going to be the Immolating Glare because it'll kill Kaya's Enforcer, which is a very nice sort of way of handling that 3/1. Okay, maybe decides, do you go for the Disorient? I might have not used Disorient because Kaya's land, the Hellmouth Cave, could proc and can still give 3/1 to the sneaking Prowler, the Prowler guy, which would still help the quest get done. So, okay, so Kaya's turn decides to, so Kaya's Ghostblade again, turns it into a 0-3 Leonin Healer and makes it a 3-1 Silent Prowler. There we go, Stormforge, Mystic, and what buff do you get? Kaya, do you get the 4+4+1 for big damage? Do you get +1+1 sneak, +1+1 and flying? Looks like there's some decisions to make. We can't see what Nemesis has a choice of, but it does look like he has an interesting choice. What do you get? Mystic weapon, well, I can't see what it does, but we'll see later. And do you attack? Attacks with, okay, does the 3-1, and yeah, cut down, there we go. Cut down is Kaya's signature card, but oh, too bad. So Nemesis should have allowed the 3-1 to attack first without using cut down. Oh, I was a little impatient on that and paid the price with the disorient. Very well done on Blue Drogo on Teferi. So turn 4, it's the Windborn Rock maybe? Yeah. So when it attacks and when everything else attacks, it gets +1 health for every attacker. So with 4 mana, it might be time for the Immolating Glare, because you might be scared of the incoming. Nope. I would maybe do the Immolating Glare even though you do waste 1 mana because you're scared of the Mystic Weapon that was chosen last turn. But Teferi, Blue Drogo decides to go for Windborn Rock, maybe that Disorient, and losing the cut down is a big loss of momentum for Nemesis. We have to see if Nemesis can come back from that, because now there's nothing on board to do the 4 damage. There's no sneak, there's no cut down, has the Courtly Killer, maybe the Mystic Weapon. So okay, just decides to load up for basically next turn. Decides to attack now, but I'm not sure really why, because a 2-3 would just get maybe blocked. The 3-1 for sure will get blocked by maybe the 2-5, either of them. So I don't know why he decides to go for the attack. But decides to do it anyways, maybe just to sort of, make them smaller. I think it's because Nemesis is sort of preparing himself for his Blood Queen Drana. So the Blood Queen Drana won't have to deal with that 2-5 Wind Rock that's flying overhead. And also because Wind Rock, when it attacks, if it attacks, when it attacks all the attacking creatures, it gets +1 health for the number of attacking creatures. That's probably why Nemesis wanted to attack, just so that when it attacks, the other creatures will have to die. So it does look like Teferi might have a fair play, because we do see these spawning salmon fish. I am so hungry right now. I just want some salmon sashimi. I didn't eat dinner. It's 1:20 in the morning. It's Canada Day, July the 1st. Well, now it's July the 2nd, and I was actually at work, so that's why this video is being made at 1:20 in the morning. Anyways, Paragon of Balance. Very well done. Very, very, very effective turn. So Paragon of Balance, that was an amazing turn. I cannot stress enough how amazing that was. Paragon of Balance. What it does is it makes everyone's attack equal to your health. And Kaya is known for those 1 HP guys versus Teferi with those high health but low attack guys. So that was an amazing, very well done Paragon of Balance. We have to really see if Nemesis can come back from this powerful play, because Kaya is not known for having lost momentum. Is supposed to have kept momentum up with those sneaks, with the mini sort of buffs of Mystic Weapon, with the stuns, with the Somber Spirits. But now Teferi has great, amazing board control, and we know Teferi has the land that where when it procs and give him 4 HP. Yeah, so Nemesis is just trying to fill the board, have the Dark Confidant, that 4-2 where when it attacks, it does damage. 1 damage to himself. I think it's actually 2 damage, but he gets to draw a card, so it's sort of sacrificing. Yeah, so Nemesis goes in for the attack, does proc his passive, and gets the Stalwart Spirit, which can stun. So now on Teferi's turn, I think it's just time to go for the attack. I mean, even if you're, Path of Exile, there we go, to keep that Windborn Rock, that 2-2 flyer, so it doesn't die, and every time you attack, the number of attackers, it's going to get 5 life. So I think Nemesis has the work cut out for him. That's going to be 5 HP, bringing Teferi to 26. Okay, so this is going to be a long match, ladies and gentlemen. So, attacks with everything. Things get blocked, things die. Courtly Killer, yeah, everything gets blocked, everything dies. And that 3-3, I don't think the 3-3 fish is gonna get blocked because I think Nemesis wants to do 2 damage to himself but wants to draw a card. I think that card draw is more valuable than his HP at this moment. Okay, so Teferi with 3 mana left over, yeah, maybe you just play the Geist because Nemesis on Kaya is not known for those Day of Judgment for 7 mana, is not known for those like, you know, Second Sun for the 6 mana. I don't think this is going to be easy for Nemesis, but hopefully the card draw from the 4-2 will be enough to sort of bring him back. So yeah, okay, so it's going to be Immolating Glare. If you attack, it's going to be Immolating Glare. It's not going to look nice. I think this is going to be, okay, Stalwart Spirit to stun the 2-2 maybe. Okay, stuns the 3-3, yeah, wants to kill the Wind Rock, right? Okay, but, oh, too bad. Immolating Glare kills it. I think Nemesis was trying to go for the 4 damage from the 4-2 and then cut down to finish his quest, but, oh, too bad. Okay, what do you decide to play? 6, 7 mana, do you play the Silent Prowler and the Kothofed? Maybe just double cut down, yeah. Okay, and maybe go for the Silent Prowler. Maybe withhold the Mystic Weapon. Okay, no, you're going to use the Mystic Weapon too. Nope, decides not to. Okay, maybe he doesn't want to reveal that he's basically just down to 1 card. So Teferi with 26 HP, so it almost looks like Nemesis hasn't done any damage to Teferi with 26 HP, plays the 3 mana 1/5 flyer, has great synergy with 5 HP with the Paragon of Balance. And yeah, we can see that was Teferi's play all along. Play these sort of high health but low attack creatures. Okay, oh, Kothofed gets absorbed. Oh, that's so rough for Nemesis. I feel so bad. But very well done, Teferi. Honestly, you are controlling this game as you were supposed to with your traps. Very well done. Mystic Weapon 4-1. Yeah, has to do the damage. The 2-1 goes in. I don't know if you needed the 2-1 to go in. Okay, decides to block it. The 2-1 dies, 6 damage, boom. But, I mean, Teferi's still at 23 life. It looks like Nemesis hasn't done any damage with 23 life. Gets the Somber Spirit and both cut downs back. Okay, thank goodness. Yeah, so Teferi is probably going to go in with the 1-5. I think the 3-1 is going to go in for the attack as well, right? Leonin Healer, not Leonin Healer, maybe heal the 3-3, but I don't think it's necessary. You could still heal the 3-3 though. That Sparkling Unicorn increases all healing effects by 1. So it's going to become well, it doesn't matter. It cannot be a 3-4. Right? This max HP is 3. So it attacks and it's trying to force Nemesis to block with a 6-2. Usually players, when they approach 10 HP, they start making bad blocks. So I think that's what Nemesis is trying to be forced to do. Yeah, so kills the Cranial Ghoul for nothing. It becomes a 3-1 Sashimi and plays the Geist, and that's big board control. Again, Nemesis doesn't look like as a Kaya player who has all his cards, you know, for sneak, for damage, for drain, like this 2-4 Knight. When it attacks, it drains 2 HP. Doesn't look like he has a board clear Day of Judgment. That's what he really needs though, but I don't think he has it. He might not also have that Blessed Rebirth, 3 mana, where on your turn, it resurrects all the creatures that died on your turn. So I think this is sort of Nemesis running out of steam versus a long game, sort of to Big Daddy Teferi, as people like to say. He has Isochron Scepter. What do you pick? Maybe you pick the... I don't think there's you don't want to pick teams because you don't want to give Kaya... Nope, decides to go for pick teams. Okay, I would have gone for the Destroy Artifact. I wouldn't want to give Kaya any more sort of options. I want Kaya to be on sort of top decking problems. So Teferi, decides to get pick teams. I don't know if he's going to play it though, and attacks with the flyers overhead, just sort of slowly, very gradually, chipping away at Nemesis. I think that's just it. You just chip away. Yeah, Teferi is time magic. His plane's walking ability is actually time magic, and that's why his splash screen is he freezes time and then breaks it again. So pick teams, just be patient. As a Teferi player is how you have to play, and actually when you play against Teferi, you also have to be patient and suss out his traps. So Nemesis decides to play Courtly Killer, goes in for the 6-2 attack. That 2 HP drain is thanks to the 2-4. Yeah, decides to block with the 1-5 to just get rid of the armor, but the 6-2, it's gonna die, yep, to the 2-3 Leonin Healer. The 2-1 Somber Spirit is probably gonna get blocked by the 3-3, yep. But the Somber Spirit does drain 2 HP, but unfortunately 2 HP is not 4 HP, so Nemesis cannot proc his passive. That's too bad. Decides to cut down the 3-1, I'm sure, yep. But thing is not looking good, so Nemesis is just fully top decking, and so hopefully Teferi, Blue Drogo has the, I guess, discipline not to play the pick teams. Oh, get ahead! Maybe get ahead so you can just, yeah, draw one more card without more teams. There we go, draw one more card and gets the Virtus the Veiled. Oh, this is not looking good for Nemesis. Yep, just go in for the attack. Maybe you can also cast Virtus the Veiled. Maybe also have your Immolating Glare set up just to kill that Courtly Killer. Yeah, it's not looking good for Nemesis, but maybe Nemesis will have a Day of Judgment or something, at least to save the game, or maybe even have an Acroma. Who knows, just to go overhead, that becomes a big problem. So Nemesis's land does proc. Silent Strike, oh no, it kills the guy that you wouldn't want to die to Imlingar. Oh, that's so rough, but at least Nemesis finishes his second quest. So this whole time Nemesis only had one quest done, and that's why only quest number 2, which is 4 HP, plays the Sly Spirit, is going to get +1, so it's a 3-1. But I don't think there's really much of an answer to Virtus the Veiled. And yeah, Big Daddy Teferi can just keep attacking with the Virtus the Veiled, keep casting Silent Strike and the flyers overhead. I think this is Teferi's game. Like, I know it was game, I mean, it was kind of like game a while ago. But, and my apologies, ladies and gentlemen, that wasn't the first quest done by Nemesis. I was just a little tired, but it was actually on his 1, 2, 3, so his 4th quest now. He's on 7 HP. So yeah, goes in, nothing gets blocked. Flyers and Virtus the Veiled sneak. So, okay, Nemesis does get the Obsidian, which does spawn a ton of flyers, but I don't think that's going to be enough because next turn we still have the 3-4, I think it's Arrestor, the Arrestor mythic, where when it debuts, it sort of stuns everything with creature power 5 or greater. Yeah, so Nemesis goes in for the attack. I think the 4-3 is going to get blocked because it doesn't want to allow Nemesis to, yeah, it doesn't want him to proc his quests. So just like that, Nemesis cannot use his quest successfully. That's too bad. And, decides to play the Obsidian, gets 2 1-1 flyers for his troubles. And I think the Virtus the Veiled is probably going to get procced, or rather, he's going to use his sneak. It's going to become 5+3, so I think that is game. Yeah, so now we have 2 guys going in for sneak damage. That's 8, so it looks like, you know, Big Daddy Teferi with that huge HP gain was able to, this was worth my time, says Kaya. Teferi does not have a response, but very, very, very well done, Blue Drogo. So that was a very nice controlled match. Even though Kaya did get her quests done, you were able to sort of out heal entirely. You had some good traps. Absorb on the Kotha Fed I think was big. Immolating Glare at the end was a very nice sort of last nail in the coffin. Very well done, Blue Drogo. You go on to the semifinals. Very well done, Nemesis. Good try. If you guys liked what you saw or heard today, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, or comment down below what you guys thought of the match. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.